They ride bikes everywhere, across town, across the country, all terrains, all weather. Meet Dave and Marti Fine. A few years ago, they changed their lives. They sold their comfortable suburban Fox Point home for this urban River West house. But it didn't stop there. They sold their cars and now ride all over Milwaukee, everywhere.
So when I go visit my clients now too, I do it on my bike, and I just let them know that I'm going to be dressed in bike clothes, and if I have a important enough meeting, I just change when I get there.
This couple has learned to live on a lot less money and leave less of a footprint on our environment as they sparingly use water, electricity, and other household appliances.
Hanging the clothes saves a lot of money, and it also uses a lot less energy, of course, because you're just using the sun and the wind to dry your clothes.
In short, Dave and Marti Fine now live on a lot less and still have a fulfilling life.
I had retired after 27 years at working for S.C. Johnson and Diversity in Racine, and then had a short stint of, I think, about 10 months with another company, and was then looking for what I wanted to do next.
I'm a personal trainer and self-employed, and I had been for several years by that time, but I ran my own business, so it was easy for me to leave.
And leave they did. The Fines signed up for the Peace Corps and spent 2 years in South Africa.
And we were assigned to a NGO, a non-governmental organization, had 2 facilities, one for intellectually impaired adults, and the other was for street children. And our assignment from Peace Corps was to help that organization.
The Fines were always avid bikers, but it was here in South Africa they upped their game, both in biking and living more frugally.
One of the things Peace Corps does is they request that you live at the same level as a co-worker, which typically isn't a lot of money, and it wasn't a lot of money for us. And if we were to use public transportation to get back and forth to our jobs every day, like South Africans, it would have taken somewhere between 20 and 30% of our monthly income just to go back and forth to work. And so what we elected to do, and ultimately tried to start a program in Polokwane in order to help people save money to pay for their kids in school and their food and things like that, was to bicycle. And so we basically bicycled all the time, from shopping to going to work to visiting friends. And besides that, we had virtually no choice because you can't drive in Peace Corps. So you either take public transportation and you pay for it, or you find a way to bicycle.
And it was also here in Africa where the Fines gained an increased appreciation and respect for natural resources.
We truly learned the significance of water. And while we were doing our training, we went out of the 12 weeks, I believe, half the time we didn't have water. We would have to collect water and use it out of barrels. And so all of a sudden, water became something that was a real resource that most Americans don't have the problem with, and that thank goodness they don't.
We really appreciate resources in general, and coming back here, we've done a lot of things in our house and in our lives with the bicycling and the composting and the not flushing the toilet that most people, when they talk to us about it, they see it as part of our contribution to being green, which it is, but I think what it really reflects on more is our appreciation of resources in general.
When the Fines are not biking in Milwaukee, they're now taking their vacations on bikes, biking across America, and managing not to spend much money at all.
For half of our nights, we stayed with people in their homes. There are a couple of organizations where people open their homes. They're hosting sites, couch surfing, and warm showers.
Because that's usually the question we get. You mean you go and you sleep in a stranger's house and you've never met this person and they trust you and you trust them? The answer is yeah, and it's been a pretty wonderful experience.
And then camping many of the other nights, which is very minimal.
In these tough economic times, folks have been forced to live on a lot less, but Dave and Marti Fine have made living on less a way of life.
Make those choices that if you really need something, then I guess you need it. But if it's either the size of the house or the quality of the furniture or how you get to places, especially in terms of transportation, I think there are great opportunities to be able to cut your budget and be thinking about things like that.
Having stuff doesn't mean much to us. I mean, we know, we've learned how in South Africa we lived with so little and saw so many other people living with so little. So it's just, and I feel that even if people can afford it, I just don't know why people feel like they need so much.